Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is your guy, Akin A. Omatosho. Hello, everyone. This is your guy, Akin A. Omatosho, the Connect Investor, and I'm here to share with you guys a webinar on how to make short-term and long-term income in real estate investing. This is not your typical we buying houses and flipping houses and we renovating houses, and this is basically dealing with no tenants, no toilets, no houses, no comps to pool, no agents, no buyers list. There's no wholesaling. This is something that's totally out the box. And the 7 secret steps blueprint to building a real estate business without going to the closing table. So typically it takes like 30 days to get paid in real estate investing. 30 to 60 days, 90 days, depends on the deal. But this is something that has come about because you will see why. I mean, I've been in the game for a while, but let's get into it. Who am I, guys? So I'm really from south side of Chicago, live in Gambrills, Maryland now. I'm a full-time real estate investor and mentor since 2006. Have a bachelor's degree in accounting, finished my master's up in real estate development. I'm a creator of Real Estate Income Streams, Living Out Your Visions, which is the nonprofit organization helping people create the vision that God has given them, in 4IncomeStreams.com. I'm a speaker, trainer, and business coach. Some people call me the Connect Investor. I'm a multiple income streams advocate. I'm a husband and dad of 4 handsome little boys. What is this 7-step training without going to the closing about anyway? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is a speed course to deliver you proven step-by-step systems to give you multiple income streams in the real estate investing business. Most will have charged $997 for this training, but I'm giving it to you guys absolutely positively free. Now, this training is not a course to show you how to make money in the traditional real estate investing, first tier real estate investing strategies. Now, the traditional first tier real estate strategy is basically, I define it as a realtor selling a house for commission, or a for sale by owner selling a house and getting paid a profit. Those are ways to make money in real estate. Okay, so this is not a training on how to talk about that. It's not a training on how to make money very complicated at all. So this training is not also going to show you how to make money into the traditional second tier real estate strategies. I will cover lease options and wholesaling, but the typical second tier real estate strategies are, I would say, buying and flipping houses, buying, holding houses, wholesaling, lease options, subject to all those strategies you may have heard from these commercial gurus. We're not going to really go into detail about that. Just going to talk about wholesaling and lease options, because 2 of those strategies, you really don't need to go to closing on those 2 strategies, and I'll explain how and what I'm talking about. We are going to talk about how to get your business closing rate and create multi-income streams within 30 days by detailing how to make money into the traditional third tier real estate strategies. Okay, if you thought this was a quick training on 6 marketing strategies, and I was sending you away, then you're dead wrong. That's not true. We're going to give you guys more content than that. Okay, who needs these strategies? Realtors, new realtors, seasoned realtors, realtors who needs lots of listings that will sell fast, real estate investors, new real estate investors, or seasoned real estate investors, or anyone who thinks that, let's talk about this, that you don't have any good motivated sellers in your backyard. Anyone who thinks that there's no good motivated buyers in your backyard. Anyone who thinks money, you need money to make money to do a deal. It takes years to get a deal done, or it's too much competition in the market. Right? This is for those who think that, because we're going to show you how to make money. Or anybody who wants to just grow and find business fast. Okay. So what to expect in this training? I don't teach theory. I will only teach what I'm doing and what works in today's market. I spent 100 hours, have went into these trainings, and I left nothing out. If I did, then I don't use it. You're going to ask a lot of questions. This training is going to be very intense training. We're going to show you some automation, some training to be step-by-step training. Step-by-step, you're going to get a little frustrated in this training as well, and you're going to want to quit. Our training style, let's go into detail about that. We do everything in XMindMap. You can download that at www.mindmap.net. Okay. The training is going to be all webinar videos with, will be like 1 to 2 hours long. I highly recommend watching like only 1 to 2 webinars a week, because we're going to do live webinars, but eventually they're going to be recorded. So it's going to be information overload, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So take your time. Okay. So let's go high view, high level as far as what's this training going to be about. Okay. This training is going to be about, guys, let's get this in here. All right. So the training is going to be about the following. So we're going to give you guys 4 modules, but in our training, we want to have 7 modules. All right. So today we're going to talk about the marketing foundation. How to get your mind right. What is the greatest hurdle you must overcome before you make money? How to choose a great mentality to make money. And why should you not focus on money, but rather focus on this and write checks you want on demand. So let's get with the marketing foundation. So you have something called advertising, and then you have something called marketing. Advertising basically incurs costs. Marketing basically is to help you generate income. And the marketing foundation is, if you're not marketing in business, nobody knows who you are. So you want to put yourself out there to market to get more income. How to get your mind right? You definitely want to surround yourself around people who are doing what you want to do, or been what doing what you want to be. If you have, I would say, get a mentor, someone who's in the game, who knows real estate investing, who understands what's going on. It's going to encourage you, going to motivate you to go to the next level. What is the greatest hurdle you must overcome before you make money? And that's the fear of making money. It makes no sense sometimes, but I've done over 50 wholesale deals personally, and I think my hardest wholesale deal was the first one, because my situation was a little different, because the first one was the fastest, but it took me 6 months to get my first deal because I was sabotaging myself. I was telling myself I couldn't do it, and when I of course I prayed and I got insight where I decided to tell everybody what I was doing. Hey, they asked me what I'm doing. I said, I'm flipping houses. I flip houses. I wholesale houses. I make money doing real estate. And so when I told my friend that, he told me that his mother-in-law, who lived out of state at the time, had a house for sale in my backyard in Baltimore. And no marketing, no banner signs, no anything. I told him that I could make it happen. Didn't know what was going on. I contacted another investor that I knew. Didn't even know he had buyers, but he had buyers. And basically I contacted that person, and we put the property under contract for $35,000, and we wholesaled it within 2 weeks for $55,000. Both he and I made 10 after we did a double closing. So a double closing is basically when you do 2 transactional closing. So we made I made $9,452. It was a good day for me. And from that, I just got the bug of flipping houses. It was like, wow, I can negotiate anything and, put it on a contract and push it out. It was just very simple. I've done over 50 of those. How to choose a great mentality to make money. So in this real estate business, you have to have an abundance mentality. You can't have a scarcity mentality. A lot of investors nowadays, that was back in, I started in 2005, 2006. A lot of guys in 2015 have a scarcity mentality because nobody want to collaborate. Nobody wants to, everybody thinks that And I was talking to a person the other day, and they were just telling me that they were a wholesaler, or they want to be a wholesaler. They've never done a deal yet, but they were saying that they are putting it out there to do joint ventures with other wholesalers and offering $5,000 wholesale fee on this one particular deal. And I told the person, I said, well, that I don't really care for like whole dollars. I like percentages when I'm dealing with joint ventures, because if I'm making 25,000 and you can bring me a buyer and I'm gonna give you 5 and I make 20, that's not fair. I want my name to be good. So I would say if I'm making 25,000, you make 12.5, I make 12. I mean, we're splitting that down the middle, and we both make $25,000 divided by 2. We make that money. I believe in leaving more money on the table for everybody else, so we all can, as I call it, eat in this industry. So a scarcity mentality will have you kind of like believe there's a lot of competition out there, that everybody's against you. There's finally got a piece of the pie. But when you have an abundance mentality, it makes you realize it's more collaboration, that you're working with everybody. Is everybody gonna love you? Who cares? But as long as you do what's right and make it happen. Why should you not focus on the money, but focus rather on this strategy and write checks on demand? And I say focus on value proposition. Value proposition is basically, in layman's term, showing people the value that you can do to solve their problem based on a service, or come up with a solution based on a service or a product. So the value proposition we're coming in as far as I'm presenting you guys is that I'm bringing you guys a table where I can show you how to make money without going to the closing table. And it's not the traditional way you're making money. You present yourself as a real estate investor by bringing value added by saying, if you're a wholesaler, I can find you discounted deals to your rehabber faster, and I can give you resources. Okay, that's pretty much value proposition. So let's go to the next module. How not to complicate business and get massive profits. So the thing is this, in business, you really are looking at it from two perspectives. If you want to increase your business, you have to either create multiple income streams that has a lot of income, or reduce your expenses. That's how you create massive profits. It's really not complicated. Create multiple income streams, several, right, with reduce your expenses. That's it. I'm not going to go too detailed about that, but that's pretty much simple as it is. Module number 4, how to find the only 2 types of business quickly and easily. All right, so one business is a service business. Service business is pretty much as a consultant, you providing a service, value added, you communicating with someone, and you letting them know basically what you do. The second thing, or how you can solve their problem. The second thing is the product business. So product business is if you are a widget guy, you're a car manufacturer, so you create cars for a living. You're creating a car for a person so they can drive the car around, and that's actually a product, tangible product, right? If you are a person who's building a house, you're creating a, I call it a service / product, because you're providing a service by doing the work, but also you creating something is tangible, okay? The main question you should ask yourself before you start is this: are you in it for the money? Are you just in this just to make money? Because if you are, you're not going to make too much money in real estate investing, right? Now, even in doing the third tier strategies, we're going to share a couple of those strategies in a moment. You're only going to make so much money in that, okay? So we want to make sure that you aren't in it for the money, you're in it for just the value added, okay? So what is real estate wholesaling? And pretty much that is putting the property on the contract, assigning your equitable rights for a fee, and spreading the difference. So, guys, we're gonna go in detail, about we got three more modules that we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna go in detail about those 3 modules in our next webinar. Okay, our next webinar, we're gonna host it. We're gonna have it where we're gonna share with you guys the 3 modules, which is going in detail about lease options, okay, assignments, how to wholesale a property without going to the closing table, how to do a lease option assignment without going to the closing table, and we're going to talk about in detail 11 strategies to create income without going to the closing table. So let me give you guys a caveat of what it entails. It entails doing webinars. it entails doing membership sites. Okay, so that's what I'm going to give you. All right, so this is your guy Akin Omotosho, looking at our next webinar, guys. This webinar, I wanted to have this webinar under 15-20 minutes because I want you guys to come to our next webinar where we're going to go in detail about how to wholesale real estate properties without going to the closing table, how to wholesale lease option properties and make money without going to the closing table, and we're going to talk about the 11 income streams in real estate investing. And I told you, I gave you 2 streams already: membership sites, how to create membership sites, and how to create money, making money with webinars. Those are the 2 ways we're making money right now, guys. Again, 2 out of 11 ways is not bad. So again, guys, we like to see you guys. This is your guy Akin Omotosho, the realestateIncomeStreams.com. Check us out. Akin Omotosho, the realestateIncomeStreams.com. We want to show you guys the 7 secret steps blueprint to building a real estate business without going to the closing table. I see you guys inside on the next webinar. Thank you.